So about the D clan. The D clan is another one of those things that have been put on the back burner. It has been part of the series since chapter 1 technically, but the first time we really heard anything about it was specifically in Drum Island, when Dr. Correa was talking about Gold Roger and how the Will of D is something dangerous to be around. And then over time we got more and more information about it. We learned that with everyone who has the Will of D, no matter how they die, they will die smiling, and in some way they are all connected to Joy Boy. Well, it was never said in the story itself, but people have drawn connections to the Will of D and Joy Boy. Even with the most recent arc, you can make connections. It is manga only though right now, so I won't really get into it, but manga readers will probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I got kind of inspired to make this video because of my previous one, since it had Law in it, and Law is a D clan member as well. So I wanted to talk about the D clan and what exactly it means to be a part of it from what we know so far. Before we get into it though, remember to like and subscribe for future content. Alright, so I first want to start off with how a person can be in the D clan, and I think there's a huge misunderstanding with this part, because I honestly do not think it is really a bloodline type of thing. We have family trees with D clan members, that being Luffy, Dragon, and Garp, or Ace and Roger, but there are a lot of other characters that aren't really in the same boat. Like let's take Law for example. Law himself is a D clan member, but his biological parents aren't. I mean, granted, we do not know much about them, but it will be a stretch to say that they are D clan members. His dad was an ordinary doctor, and his mom was just a housewife. So to be honest, they are background characters at best. I do not think someone with the Will of D will be that insignificant to the plot. Every D clan member that we know is substantial in some way to the plot. A great example would be Sal, who was a guy that was friends with Robin when she was younger. He is also part of the D clan, but he's a giant. So for it to be a bloodline type of thing, I do not exactly see how that will work between a giant and a human. Not to say that it is impossible, but it is very improbable. The only other time that I've seen something like this was when the Prince of the Giants wanted to marry Pudding. I mean, it ended up not happening because she refused to marry him, but it was proof that relationships that cross between different races are a thing in One Piece. So if that is the case, there must have been a Genghis Khan or something in the D clan to have the bloodline be so spread apart. Basically, the only D clan members that can prove it being a bloodline type of thing are Luffy's family and Ace's family, but I think it is actually something completely different. I think people only see it as a bloodline type of thing because Luffy's family is full of D clan members. The past 3 generations in his family have people who are part of it, but I think it is more of a coincidence than anything, because besides those 2 families, the other D clan members don't have any other relatives with a D, at least that we know of. And if we take just one step back and look at it from another angle, it's pretty clear what it might possibly be. People with the D in their name are considered people with the Will of D. Emphasis on the will part. If it was related to bloodlines, I think there'd be more of a focus on that aspect of it, but that isn't really the case at all. What I believe it actually is a inheritance of will. We do not know what specifically it is that they're inheriting, but if I were to guess, I would say it would be to make a change in the world. Not against the world government specifically, but just make a change. Because while most of the D clan are pirates, they all do not want to make the same changes, or at least in the same way. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates to be the freest person alive, for example, and Garp and Dragon both want to make changes for justice, but Garp ended up going down the path of a marine, and Dragon went down the path of a revolutionary. Then there's Blackbeard, who is completely different from them as well, but he is also a D clan member. He just wants to cause chaos pretty much. He wants to be free like Luffy, but in a different sense. Instead of trying to rise above all the roadblocks that are trying to stop him from reaching his goal, he just wants to tear them all down to his level. So I think the Will of D is just a person who has a burning desire to make a change or impact on the world, and whether it is for a selfish reason or not, it doesn't really matter. So the fact that Luffy's in a family with D clan members is just a coincidence. But as for how someone is determined to be a D clan member, I have no idea honestly, because people won't just know if their kid is a D clan member or not when they're just out the womb. Most people probably would not even know what a D clan is. I really doubt it is as simple as having a D in your name, because in that case it would be as easy as giving your kid a D initial in their name. There's definitely something else to it, we just don't know what it is exactly. I imagine we will get more info about it in OBAP. There's no particular reason why. It is just a gut feeling that is when we'll really dive into the D clan's lore. But yeah, that is pretty much all I had to say. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe for future content. Peace.